Hello, hello, and welcome. We are first Thursday of the month. You know what that means? Women's Perspective, the Iron Perspective Show with our wonderful, amazing queens that always comes on the show. Now, I always tell people, yeah, I head it up. I make sure I get all the queens together, but this is not about Barbara J. Beckley. No, it's not. It's not. It's not. It's about each and every panelist, each and every expert, each and every magnificent woman that I look at as a diamond and a queen comes on and shares their time, their expertise, and their tips and everything else. So you can take it and say, maybe I can use that idea that particular queen said, or I didn't think of building it that way, or oh, my mindset just changed. Think about that when this show comes on every month, because we want to make sure that not only we're moving the needle in our own lives, going upward, right? But we're also moving the needle and helping other people. That's what it's all about, coming together. So tonight, this is, one day before Women's International Day. That's tomorrow. So we'll see a little bit clip on that. But the whole month of March is Women's History Month. I get so excited about it. And I was just telling my queens, I was like, I know that the United States and some other countries, celebrate March as the month of Women's History Month. But I just want to tell y'all a little secret. And it's not such a little secret, but I'll just say it. All year round is Women's History Month. We're always making changes. We're always doing things. We're always in the move and in the groove. So we're going to talk about this topic tonight. If we want to put a topic to it, is women's history and women making history. So important. So important. It doesn't always have to be the celebrities doing it. I mean, you have average women throughout the world, throughout years and years and years and years, have made history. And some of you don't even know who they are. And I feel like we really need to just look at those undercover women that are making history and put them in the limelight so you know what they did. And you will see some things tonight that I was like, oh, I didn't know a woman made that. Or, oh, I didn't know she invented that. So let me just give you just a little tag, and I'm going to bring up the queens and we can have this discussion. Women's History Month is an annual observation to highlight the contribution of women to events in history and contemporary society. Celebrated during March in the United States, the United Kingdom, and Australia. And then it corresponded into International Women's Day, which is March 8th. It is observed around in October in Canada. I didn't even know that. Corresponding with the celebration of Persons Day on October 18th. So see, we have warped out of a whole bunch of other things in different countries as well. The biggest thing that I love what they do, especially for each year, they always picked a certain title, a certain topic, something that you need to talk about. And this year, they're really talking about DEI, diversity, exclusion, and inclusion. And I don't know how much we can talk about that. I know it's going to be talking a little bit about tonight, but I just want people to understand that until we are all treated fairly in every culture, in every race, there's always going to be women in history, because we have to fight this fight to get it to we're all equal. And I'm talking about our Black, Browns, Chinese, Mexicans, everybody. So that's what it's all about. So with that said, I'm going to bring on these queens. But before I bring on the queens, remember I said I'm going to be showing you some things that you might not know in women's history. So we're going to play this clip, and then you'll see the queens come on. Yeah, I like that. Girl power. Ta-da! I know it's magic. Every Thursday of the month, I bring on these queens. Hello, ladies. Yes, yes, yes. We're rocking it tonight. So before we get into, our talk, our discussion, I just want everybody to kick back where they at. This is on virtual. So, wherever you are, you watching us, please share the link out. I always ask people to do that, because this is going to be so much information that you want to have a piece of paper and a pen, and you want people to, get into it with the conversation. Now, anybody that's watching us, if you can comment, put your comments in. You're a part of this discussion, as I always say. It's not just us against you, it's we're all together here. So before we start, I want to each and every queen to introduce themselves tonight. And let me put me in the middle here. Let's do some moving around. There we go. We're going to start with Jacqueline, Queen Jacqueline.
Hi, I'm Jacqueline, America's foremost intuition skills trainer, and I'm currently in Reno, Nevada.
Yes, yes, yes. Queen, queen, queen. And our next queen. Now, this queen hasn't been here for a while. I should be getting a cake for her.
Hi, my name is Letitia Jackson Gibbs. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Legendary Legacy Group, where my husband and I help families to create long-lasting legacies for generations to come.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, Queen. Thank you for coming this evening. And we'll have Queen Ronnie.
Good evening, everyone. I am Ronnie Cyrus Jackson. I am founder and CEO of Authentic Transformations, and I seek to curate spaces for women to come, to rest, receive, and to just be their authentic selves.
Ooh-wee. Yes, 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 lady. And this is Queen America Supermom.
Hey, I am Lachelle Atkins, also known as America's Supermom, mother of 15 children, and I'm a TV producer. I help you to monetize your message and create a global impact in the world through television. Glad to be here.
Glad for you to be here too. Now, everybody said what they, their gem is what they do. And I usually don't forget me because I always like to have them do it first. But I'll do it tonight. My name is Barbara J. Beckley. If you already know me, I'm a purpose and visibility strategist. I just really like to basically help, especially women in business, to make sure that their purpose is being seen, period. And that's through, if you have your own TV show, you want just like America's Supermom, she does it so well. And, if interviews, learning how to show up in who you are. So that's what I do. So with that said, like we said, we're showing up tonight in the Diamond Perspective Show. This comes on, just let everybody know to put in your calendar moving forth. Every first Thursday of the month, 6 o'clock Central Time, 7 o'clock Eastern Time. So with that said, ladies, I want to really kind of get into Women's History Month. As we said, this has been celebrated for so long. It has changed, on a yearly basis. Now we have Women's, with International Day, which I love because it celebrates International of Women. But, I want to just dig into how, in your eyesight, do you really celebrate or really, bring in when it comes to Women's History Month? What is your take on that? So anybody wants to start in that point. And
I feel like I could talk about this a lot, okay, because I have 9 daughters. And when it comes to women, I think that it's important to model what you want your kids to grow up to be. And so I think this is something that is not just a month or a day for myself. It's something that I work to practice every day. I have overcome a journey of 13 years of depression and 3 hospitalizations. And now I just pretty much feel like a walking billboard for people to know your own value and worth and your own voice and be able to express that unapologetically. So I think it's just something that, once I learned how to speak up and speak out, you just can't keep me quiet. So I do that every day.
And that's what we need. We need each other's voices to keep speaking that out. And thank you, America Super, for telling how many, because I know with your 15 wonderful children, most of them are women, are girls. So they're looking, and just to let you know, to give you so much kudos, you are an example, a wonderful example to them. Just being a woman, being an entrepreneur, being out there with your voice. And I think each and every lady on here too, that's what, we do to keep the history, women's history going for that.
Thank you. And one of them, I just happen to have a gift that she sent me. She gave me today
Oh, look
for
at
Happy
that.
Women's Day. And I think, you never know what your impact is going to be. I think as a mom, we want to show up and be a certain way for our children. But for me, I think being able to see the feedback from them is the greatest gift because I want my kids to be able to fully express who they are, what they believe, the good, the bad, and the ugly, so that we can work on it. I think, it doesn't do them any good if it's always clean in the house. If they never see what it's like for things to get dirty, they're not going to have that resiliency, to keep moving forward. So,
Yes, definitely. Definitely. Flowers are beautiful too. See, flowers are nice to get sometime. So, and all the other queens, I just want to hear from you too about, how can we, I'm just going to put it like this, how can we ensure that Women's History Month isn't just a celebration of the past? See, that's why I said making history too. And, also serving as a catalyst for ongoing progress. Like I said before, the theme this year is about, gender equality, making sure that, we're looking at rights for everybody. So anybody else want to piggyback on that real quickly?
I'm happy to piggyback off that, Barbara. Sure. So I love this question so much because, like to Lachelle's point, I loved when she said that it is very critical for us as women, especially us who are, a little bit older than those coming behind us. It's important for us to show up authentically. It's important for us to model what authenticity looks like. And even more than that, it's important for us to be aligned with our core values and who we really are, not only in public or on social, but who we really are in real life. And I say that it's important, and I believe that we are living in a space, in a time now where we're not only given permission to, but we're celebrated when we do show up with that authenticity. Because what happens is, see, we can curate spaces unintentionally where we are teaching the younger generation how not to be. So and then we expect for them to be a certain way when they've never been taught. And so when I think about making history and I think about Women's History Month, that's really what comes to mind, especially in this DE&I era, that we're celebrating, quite frankly, right now. And we are demanding and we are giving permission for women, for human, right, for mankind to celebrate diversity. And when I think about Women's History Month, for so long, it has been a culture or a world that celebrates men. And so now that we have this open window where women are being celebrated, all kind of women internationally, it is important for us to show up not only authentically, but also to show up and be heard. Show up with a message, show up with something tangible that we are saying that is meaningful and that will help change culture. And so that's really, what I think about when I think about history makers, especially women. What meaningful contributions are we leaving this world as we are going out today?
Yeah. Oh, Ronnie, that was powerful, lady. Yes, I'm gonna have to send you a clip of this so you can share. But yes, we had to rise up in our own. Like I said, you're talking about authentic. I always talk about purpose, and I feel like it goes hand in hand. That we really need to make sure that we show up, and then we feel comfortable. Because I always tell people can always see through. They say through you're confident. If you're confident now, they can see if you're purpose driven and your purpose. They can see all that. So you have to make sure that you are taking care of you first, making sure, okay, I want this. I want to see this change. And then when you show up in yourself, everything really flows, even if it's something that's kind of and especially with the DEI. I know there's a lot of things going on, but even with that, you still just break through that barrier and say, you know what, I believe in this because this is what I believe in, this is what I'm pushing for. So anybody else want to add to that?
I would. This is Jacqueline. For me, it's not even about fame or recognition, but as a woman, to I don't have children. Some women that have had children, they've lost them already. But the point is, within each person's life to show up from heart-centered. And I don't care whether you're cleaning the floors, washing the dishes, bartending. It doesn't have to be fame. It has to be you. It doesn't have to be anything. But as we celebrate our own heart-centered power of being able to diffuse problems, our intuitive integration that we are, this is who we are. We shine that light, and it's not always about what are you achieving. It's about what are you being, and how are you acknowledging that power that you have to just show up and be that creative force that we are.
Oh, I love that. I love that, Queen, how you brought that out about, because some of us, because like about someone like you, Queen Jacqueline, I don't have children, but I always look at the children around me anyway, because everybody's watching you. I always tell people, somebody's watching you. And if you're trying to be that example to be at whatever you need, we want to step, we're accountable for that.
Right. Even in the grocery store, the kids, the little ones, are watching everybody else and they're learning. So to step in kindness, to stay with patience, it's not always that easy, but we have it within us, and they watch and we teach.
Yes. And never think that, like I tell people, because, children or no children, that you're not making a difference. You're not making a difference in what you stand for. So I always tell all women that no matter what you're doing in a positive mode, people see it. They might not say it. They might not, say it directly to you, but believe me, people see it and they're gravitating to it. So, okay, we haven't heard from Queen Letitia. I want to hear from you, lady.
I love all the comments that were definitely shared. When I think of this subject, I have 3 girls myself, and now my youngest is 20 years old, and my oldest is 31. So, as we've said, it's always important for me as a woman, as I've learned from my mom, she's learned from her mom. Those are our history makers, but it's always to be the example. Set the example in front of them, much like Jacqueline said, because they always look up to us. And as we continue to grow, as they grow, we are constantly evolving, we're constantly growing, we're constantly changing to always keep inside of them those morals, those values, those things, and letting them know that they can be history makers as well. So as long as we continue to instill into them those morals, values, that foundation, then we continue to create history makers.
Yes. Ooh, I love it, love it, love it. Yes, we need to continue. You said it right on the key there, Queen, to show them that they can be history makers. And, just because we're looking at the people in the past, I always tell people, yes, we're on their shoulders. Yes. They showed us the way. They gave us they gave us the encouragement. They gave us the confidence to, looking at different people. And I want to talk about each and every one of you, some women that, might in the history has helped you, but that gives you to say, okay, well, now it's for my turn. I gotta make the history to keep going. It doesn't stop at a certain point in time. It continues to grow in all of us, right? Yeah. So before we get into some of our queens that maybe has certain individuals that they look at as their women in history and they really put a spotlight on them, I want to go to some women that we all kind of know that are making history either young or older. And we'll be right back. So I wanted, because tomorrow is, like I said, Women's International Day. And I said at the end of that video, tag somebody that impacts your life. So I want to tag each and every queen here because they impact my life. And to me, they're a celebrity in my eyes. So I don't care what anybody says. I'm going to tag the women that has impacted me, either if I knew them just last week, last year, or years and years. you can always gain from other women what they're doing in a positive way. So I want to go around and just give some things that maybe certain individuals impact you, or maybe something within the women generation that helped you in what you're doing now. So who wants to go first? Jacqueline.
Hi. There is somebody that's very not known in history. Her name is Victoria Clayton Woodhull. And she was born in September 1838. She actually was the first woman that ran for the president of the United States.
Wow. Okay.
And there's a book that a friend of mine from grammar school wrote. He's a good writer, Neil Katz, and it's called Outrageous, Volume 1, The Victoria Saga. Really well done. But this book, this woman was absolutely amazing. She started from nowhere, and she ended up having a major influence on the women's transformation and suffrage. She lived till she was 88, and she passed, and she was able to see a lot of transition. She obviously didn't make it to president, but women weren't even allowed to vote back then.
Mhm.
So that's one. And I've got two more that I really admire: Margaret Mead and Marianne Williamson, for some of their quotes and things.
Wow. See, now I didn't even know that. That is amazing. See, that's what I'm saying about learning and being and getting awareness from other women.
Yeah.
Keep going. Yeah.
And Margaret Mead, the quote that I love: "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has." And so small groups of people, don't ever underestimate what you're starting with, a small group of people, and it can ripple out and change the world.
Oh my God. I have to put her up there. I want to just make sure people get her name if they want to look more into it. And that is Victoria Woodhull. Am I right?
Woodhull, Woodhull.
That's it. I have it up there. There we go. So, wow. See, and I'm thinking when you said the first woman that, kind of was running for president, I didn't even think back, like you said, 1838.
I know. She was amazing. The stuff that she went through, she lost everything. They put her in jail a whole bunch of times. After she was running, they didn't want her out there. So it's a really interesting story and an amazing spirit. And then Marianne Williamson running for president several times, and her the impact the quote that she wrote for Nelson Mandela in his inaugural speech: "It's not our light, it's not our darkness that frightens us, it's our light. Who am I to be beautiful, talented? Who are you not to be? You're a child of God." So anyway, that quote, I constantly send it out to people, and they go, "Oh, that's great."
Wow.
So.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that, Queen. I mean, see, this is just, again, looking at individuals, and this was keep going back, 1838, where you're talking about we don't have, certain rights we're fighting for still. That was like, whoa. Like you said, a woman to even speak out, to say something, they'll probably, say, okay, off with the head, like they said, and they would, because we didn't supposed to say anything.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you.
Okay, Queens, I'm going to pick now. America's Supermom. Who's a person that might be in your life that really, moves you to the next level as a woman?
Well, for me, it's my grandmother, my maternal grandmother. She was the mother of 12 children, and I was an only child. So the whole idea of having a large family, I learned early on by watching her. But I think the thing that I've grown to appreciate the older I get is I used to spend my summers with her because my mom always worked in corporate America of some extent. And so, I felt like she always talked to me like I was on her level. Well, just a few years ago, I realized that she made things so simple that even I could understand them as a kid. And for me, that was very powerful and profound to see how she was so very present about connecting with people, no matter what their background was, their age, gender. She just really had a heart to give so much to others, and just seeing her strength, the things that she was able to do and raising her kids, that was really the person that did it for me. Another person outside of my mother, of course, is my aunt, one of my mom's sisters. We come together and we talk about quotes, things that really inspire us. And one of the quotes that we have grown to really appreciate is, you don't have to set yourself on fire to keep other people warm. And I think it's so important to have those moments of really reflecting and thinking about, am I doing the right thing? Is this really serving me? So that's really what I get out of conversations with quotes that really help me think about what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and is it producing the outcome that I desire? You're muted, Barbara.
I was trying not to, because I was like, okay, if I cry, I don't want to really cry in front of everybody. That's why I muted myself. That was so sweet. Yes, 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 and yes. I love how like we said, we learn from our women in our lives. And if you can learn from the women in your lives, that is amazing. I know I just think about my mother, how she, I call her Sergeant Sally Beckley. That was her name, Sally Beckley. And I referred to her as Sergeant because it seemed like everything I did, she was just like, no, you got to do that. You got to get this degree. You got to do this with you. I was like, how many degrees do I got to get for you to say you have checked off the box? And she told me, I'll never forget this day. I was in my 20s. She said, never. She said, because society is never going to give you a check in the box. So you need to keep doing what you do, get your education, understand about everything. And I thank her for that. It's been 13 years now since she's got her wings. But, each and every one of us has, those women in our lives, the ones that are like, oh, and the ones like, do it, because they understand and they want you to, like we said, making history in your own life. So let's go to Miss Ronnie. I want to hear her take.
Yeah. So when I think about women who have been, who have, well, they're history makers in my life because they have impacted my life in such positive and amazing ways. The first person that comes to my mind is my mom. And to know my story, it's a miracle and it's a blessing at the same time. But really, my mom, she has been in heaven for 10 years now, but she was a woman who suffered from mental illness. And back then, you didn't talk about it. So she suffered a lot in silence. She medicated herself using drugs and alcohol. And hence, I wasn't able to grow up with her because she was sick, quite frankly. But as I grew up and aged out of foster care, I was able to reconnect with my mom and reconcile with her. In fact, my husband and I, we were very blessed and privileged to take care of her the last 5 years of her life. And when I think about my mom, they say hindsight is 20/20, right? You can see things, you can see the lessons after they're gone, And so my mom, her name's Stephanie Calhoun. Stephanie, what my mom gave me is the gift of kindness. So my mom was sick. She was so kind. She was so giving and loving. And I see that in myself now. Now, when I was unhealed and full of hate and resentment and unforgiveness, I couldn't see that. But now on the other side of healing, I am able to really lean into and appreciate and have so much gratitude for what my mom was able to give me, which was character.
Yes.
Character. And so that's the first person. The second person I think about her name is Kim Jackson. Kim Jackson was in high school, I was in this college prep program. It was called Upward Bound. And Kim Jackson was the executive director of Upward Bound. Well, I had become a mommy already by the time I was in high school. And so in spite of all of that, Kim was so dedicated to helping me, right? Not be a statistic, a teenage mom statistic. She really took me by the hand and loved on me so well, got me in college and through college. And even now to this day, we still stay in contact. But the mentorship that she gave me all the way back then has really shaped my life and has really shaped how I relate to and I am intentional with other young ladies that I see that society has discarded because of their behaviors or because of a situation that, you know, has happened to them. And so I'm very grateful for Kim. And I know that as women, as you know, as we are carving out our own piece of history in the world, I always think about intentionality and motivation. Share what you have, even if it's just a kind word. So that's my thoughts.
Oh, that's so beautiful, Queen. I love how you shared with your journey with your mother. I can resonate with that because, like you said, sometimes the lessons are learned after the fact. And every day I think of all the lessons that my mother taught me that when she was here, let's just say we had challenge with our relationship because she was one way, she was, but then I thought about it, I said, she only knew what she was taught. She only knew what she's seen. And she just seen that toughness, that exterior, that, and the love part was there, but she showed in a way of, you got to do this, you got to do it. So after that, I was like, really? But then I see so many things that she left for me, like you said with your mother, about being such a giver and a caring person. So I'm so grateful that, those things were left and that you've seen that. And took that on in your own life. So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about. The magic happens. So Queen, I got you.
Much like everyone else, I would have to say my history making person is my mom. She is oh my God, I'm gonna get emotional. Okay, hold on. She was the person who literally taught me everything that I knew. For the last 2 years, she passed away recently in December. She lived with my husband and I, and she was just the epitome of strength, resilience, faith, belief. Nobody would have known that she had dementia and cancer because each and every day she still got up. Each and every day until her body literally gave out up under her. She was praising God every day, woke up singing his praises, just showing me the example of the fight ain't over until it's over. And she was that example for me, which I try to be that same example for my girls. So it would have to definitely be my mom.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get some tissue. Definitely get some tissue. But it's just again just showing, that's why I wanted each and every one of you to bring up the women, be it, if it's, your parent or a person that you see that's in history that really pushed you in what you do, because that's important, because I see that in each and every one of you doing that with somebody else that's needed. So what you shared and what you're bringing from other people, you're doing that and going back to women making history. And I always want to reflect back to that because I want to remind people that you are history makers. Somebody said that just a minute ago, how we're history makers, and continue on with that. So before we got one more question. We're going to go around the room before we close down, but there's something that talking about history and understanding why certain things are out there. So this particular clip is, everybody's going to see this poster of this lady, and she's doing like her fist like this, I think. Yeah. And you're going to see where that came from, because first I was like, who is this lady that they keep showing back in the 60s? So you're going to get a little history right now. We'll be right back. So, did anybody really understand who that who Rosie was? I was like, oh, see, I always tell people when you understand and dig deep and get awareness of things, now you know what the true meaning behind something is. So, I mean, I was just thinking 3 million women had to step up back in the day, and that was back in, like you said, I think in the 1900s and stuff, that they had to go and do the things that men, because they were off to war wherever, and they showed up, right? They showed up and they did what they had to do, and we proved again if we come together collectively, we can get things done. Yes. So with that, I want to go into kind of with the women history, going back to that, looking ahead. Now, how can we all leverage the momentum of women's history to inspire the next generation? Because it is about that, of women leaders, activists, and empowering them to continue to make the history in their own rights. So they show up in their purpose. So they know that they can make history. It's not just certain individual women, it's any woman that wants to make a history. So how can we, kind of keep that momentum going to putting in, especially like I said, with the generation that's coming up? Anybody wants to take that?
Well, I think it begins with acceptance, accepting people for who they are. There's so many differences. I just think back in the day, there's like a certain dress code for women. We wore dresses or skirts. We didn't really wear pants. And now, there's just so much diversity with the things that we can do and how we show up. And I think when we accept people for who they are, they feel comfortable to be who they are. And we can work together and just accept that. I think there's so many stereotypes about trying to keep people in a box and have them fit into a certain mold that a lot of times, I can only speak for myself, I felt like I was in a space where I couldn't be truly myself. I had to be the best pastor's wife or be the best business person, and all these things where it was really based a lot on comparison, and I really didn't feel like I had the freedom to be me. That's one of the things that I really embrace with my brand, is realizing that I grew up in a world where we talked about the American dream. And I feel like that just wasn't my reality, that dream, the two kids with the white picket fence. It ended up being so much more and so different than what I had planned, that now I've learned to define my own American dream. And so I think having the freedom to be who you are, to speak your truth unapologetically. I think that's important, because a lot of times I just felt like my voice was muted. I couldn't be who I was. I had to say the right thing, be the right person. And I'm so done with that.
I love it, American Supermodel. I'm just stunned. Any other queen want to express about how to keep that momentum going for the generation moving forward?
Yeah, I'll go. Barbara, when I think about keeping momentum going, is for other women, coming up behind us. Though, I think about, as we look at young girls today, and I think about, wow, that's a cute little baby, when our friends or whatever, they have kids. Well, there might be a baby today, but they're going to be a grown woman, somebody's whole mother, someone's wife, someone's, you see what I'm saying, someone's worker someday. I think about how can I be, how can I not be the gatekeeper of them, rather the key? How can I leverage my social influence, my impact, my networks, my resources? How can I leverage my resources to help someone else? Now, I understand that needs to be done with boundaries. I'm not saying just haphazardly do that, but making sure that I am introducing, giving exposure to, allowing someone to have an experience with me, or within my sphere of influence that they otherwise wouldn't have. I understand that everyone isn't privileged. I used to not be. And I mean, we're all here on your podcast. That's a level of privilege that we all have, if we want to look at it that way. And so when I think about, sharing my experiences, I think always, how can I be the key for someone else? That's what I think.
Ooh, see, you gonna get me hollering over here. And I don't mind. Yes, Queen. And that's what it's all about. And like I said way at the beginning, and this is what I love, to have these platforms to bring you queens on so you can be who you are and tell the world. I always tell people, if you got these type of platforms, don't put it to sleep. If you have a show, a podcast, I'm just going to put it out there. That's a awesome opportunity to put out there what Queen Ronnie's saying, and America Supermodel, we're all saying, use that platform to good use to help, like you said, keep the momentum going, keep the awareness going and such. So yeah, I can get on my soapbox about that. So thank you, Queen Ronnie, you got me started. I gotta calm down, but let's get to the other queens. Let me go to Queen Jacqueline.
Hi. Well, the thing I notice languaging a lot, and for example, it's not wrong, but when you said that Rosie the Riveter, they had to go do this, and I look at it as they got to go and start to do some work. A lot of the women were housebound and limited into certain categories of women's work, and then they got to become the mechanic and the construction worker, and so that was the beginning of gender changes and roles. And so encouraging, I see and work with a lot of parents and families that I'm in the elder generation, and I'm working on passing my wisdom and skills set to the first generation. And that I've seen a lot of parents that are, especially in different cultures, you will become the doctor, you will become the attorney, you will become this, as opposed to at 7 years old and 12 years old, the children know at a soul level, why am I here? What is my purpose? And if the parents understand certain levels of progression and ask at 7 years old, what do you want to be when you grow up? They will tell you, sometimes symbolically, because they don't have enough experience or language. But if they say, I want to be the fireman or I want to be the astronaut, it gives a concept. And so to nurture from the inside out, to really find the calm, I teach meditation, to find the calm and the ability to keep homeostasis. Health is wealth. And to be able to manage stress and really use your inner wisdom and inner vision, imagination, to impact where you are and make a better life for yourself. And if you make a better life for yourself, you make a better life for everyone around you.
Yes.
So
elegant, so wonderfully put. And I'm glad that you went back to Rosie and about what you said about women. That's when it opened those doors, like you said, and just not being those housewives and giving us that opportunity that we didn't even realize, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and women are the creative vessels of the planet of human species. I mean, it's like men can't give birth to babies yet.
That's why it's a yearly thing for women of the history. So thank you for saying that. I proved the point. We proved the point. But no, I know men be like, Barbara, really? You gonna go there? No, I'm not bashing men. I'm not bashing men at all. I love men. So, but we're, yeah, but can you have a baby, right? So okay, Queen.
I love that you showed that Rosie clip. When I used to work in corporate, 1 year we had to dress up as someone, and that was the person that I did.
Oh, hey, look at that.
I was telling my husband, I was like, oh my God, look, do you remember when I did this? And he was like, yeah. But Keeping the momentum going. Lachelle probably remembers this, but I think Barbara Beckley is a huge example of keeping the momentum going. Remember, like when we first got started with this dream of what she wanted this platform to look like, and what it has evolved into, and how she continues to add people weekly, daily, constantly to our network of individuals where we're all continuing to learn, grow, and evolve. That's how we continue to keep the momentum going. We have to constantly pay it forward. So I think Barbara Beckley is a huge example of exactly what it means to keep the momentum going when it comes to Women History Month.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna have somebody to take over because I can't do this. Oh, Queen, why did you do that to me? Oh my God, thank you so much. That just tells me confirmation that I'm doing something right. So thank you. But it wouldn't be without each and every one of you that comes on that gets my texts that say, "Okay, it's back again next month." I know you're probably like, "Okay," because you're all doing so much. But just to come on there, and I have to give some love now to the title, American Supermom, because I was trying to figure out what to title this. What can this show be titled? And when she said, "Well, Barbara, you do the diamond thing, diamond perspective," I'm like, see how some things are so simple comes out of somebody, and then you're sitting there trying to figure stuff out, like, I don't know what to name it. And then somebody just comes and says, and drops the mic on it, and you're like, oh, you're right. So thank you so much, Jacqueline. I know you have something to say before we're going to close out.
Barbara, I would like to challenge everyone this month to write a love letter or an appreciation letter, stick it in the mail to someone. Don't wait for a holiday, a birthday. Just send something, whether you write your name on it or send it anonymous. Just start the acknowledgement, because there's so many people that need that and will appreciate that.
I love that. Yes, yes. It doesn't have to be on a certain day. Just do it, like they say, right? So now I know our time is near here, and I want to make sure that the queens give any lasting thoughts, and then also how you can contact them, because this is a collaborative show that I bring the queens on, but they also have their awesome, amazing business adventures and what they believe in and all that stuff, and I want you to connect with them. I always tell them, this is two things with this show. You had to come on and give some expertise, but then also people to connect with each other if you need them, because you never know. So let's start off with my angel, one that just gave me all this love, and I'm trying to hold back the tears. Any lasting thoughts, lady, and then how they can contact you?
I do. I love this platform, and we have to know, like some of us have already said, our day will come where we will all be with the Lord. And what matters is, what are we leaving behind? What history do we want to leave behind that continues for our legacies and generations to come, that someone else 10, 20, 30 years down the line is sitting in these same positions, having this exact same conversation, and they're paying it forward over and over and over again. That's how we continue with Women's History Month. I can be reached on Facebook. I am Letitia Jackson Gibbs, as it says on my name. And then on Instagram, I am beautiful_I am with 2 M's.
Yes,
Thank you.
Are very beautiful. So thank you so much. And we'll go to Mrs. Jacqueline.
Hi, I can be reached at intuitionpower.com. My name is hard to spell, so even the search engines don't like it. But my work is really about empowerment from the inside out. So I've got a lot of classes on intuition, not just intuition, the gut reaction, but moving it up to the heart, so you find success from the inside out. And so I do a lot of healing, a lot of psychic work in terms of in soul level readings for people to get their timing and their advanced, they know where to go and when, in alignment with that, help them with decisions. But I love teaching classes. So I have a lot of classes, meditations I lead on Facebook. And so Intuition Power is where the best place to find me.
And any lasting thoughts that you wanted to give?
just don't wait to just send it a love letter to yourself when you look in the mirror today.
Oh, oh, thank you so much, Queen.
Yeah.
Love it. I mean, these are some great tips. Thank you so much, Barbara, for having me. I think my final thought is dream big, but take intentional small steps every day.
Ooh.
When I think about how we started here and now, not only do I have a show, but I have my own channel on a
Mhm.
network. And you just never know where you'll end up if you just keep showing up every day. So I just want to encourage everybody to keep moving. I can be reached on every social media platform. You can find me either under America's Supermom or under Lachelle Atkins. And thanks again for having me.
Ooh, I like that. Dream big, but take those small steps because you will get there. Ooh, and last, Mrs. Queen Ronnie.
Yeah, you know what I really want everyone to begin to think about, my thoughts have been lately is, while it is okay not to be okay, it's really okay to be okay. And so that's really what I want, just for people to just think about that and to be encouraged with it as well. I know life is life in for us all. There's a lot of things that we could choose, right? The power of choice. We could choose to become worried or anxious about, but at the end of the day, is our worry going to add anything to our lives? Mm-mm. So I can be reached on Facebook. I can be reached on Instagram. My main platform is LinkedIn. If you Google me, I am the only Ronnie Cyrus Jackson in the world. So I'll come up in Google. And if you connect with me, so if you choose to connect with me, really the work I do and my life's purpose is I help walk alongside those who are healing, in particular, healing from childhood trauma.
I'm on that mute. Thank you so much, ladies, for coming today. Again, I ask everybody to reach out to these queens. Each and every one of them has a special, wonderful, amazing gift in them that they give the world. And I'm telling you, there's transformation that happens if you work with them. And I'm putting that stamp on everybody because I believe in them. They wouldn't even be on this show if I didn't, to be honest with you. You just don't bring anybody. Not anybody comes to the Dime Perspective show. So they are VIPs, just to let you know. And again, we come every month, first Thursday of the month, with different topics. If you are interested in being a part of the group, please let me know. We're always looking for new faces, but we always have our original queens here that's going to come with it. Happy Women's Month, Women's History Month. Please do something within this month to show up in your purpose as a woman because you are important. With that said, thank you again, Queens, and we will see you next month. Ah, the hearts.